The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows across the desolate landscape surrounding Whispering Oaks. Cadence Holloway stood at the edge of the overgrown courtyard, her heart pounding with a mix of anticipation and fear, despite the warnings and the ominous tales that shrouded the abandoned school. Curiosity had drawn her here, along with her companions Jacob and Olivia. Whispering Oaks had once been a beacon of education and promise, nestled amidst the verdant hills of the countryside, but now it stood as a relic of bygone days, its once grand halls now echoing with the whispers of the past. Legend had it that Whispering Oaks was cursed, its halls haunted by the tormented souls of those who had perished in a tragic fire years ago. The fire had consumed the school in a blaze of fury, leaving behind only charred remnants and anguished spirits trapped within its walls. As Cadence, Jacob, and Olivia ventured deeper into the abandoned school, the air grew heavy with the weight of centuries-old sorrow. They passed through dimly lit corridors adorned with peeling paint and cracked tiles, their footsteps echoing eerily against the walls. Their first stop was the Grand Hall, where the fire had originated. As they stepped into the cavernous space, a shiver ran down Cadence's spine. The room seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, as if the very walls were alive with the memories of the tragedy that had unfolded there. In one corner of the hall, a dilapidated piano stood silent and still, its keys untouched for years. Cadence approached it tentatively, her fingers hovering over the dusty keys. As she pressed down on a key, a discordant note echoed through the hall, sending chills down her spine. Suddenly, a voice whispered in her ear, faint and indistinct. Cadence froze, her heart pounding in her chest as she strained to make out the words. But before she could decipher the message, it faded away, leaving her trembling in the darkness. Determined to unravel the mysteries of Whispering Oaks, the trio pressed on, exploring each room and corridor with trepidation. In the library, they discovered a collection of old books and journals, each one filled with accounts of strange occurrences and unexplained phenomena. As they pored over the pages, they pieced together the tragic history of the school and the events that had led to its downfall. They learned of a young girl named Eliza, who had been blamed for the fire and had perished in the flames along with her classmates and teachers. But as they delved deeper into the mystery, they began to sense a malevolent presence lurking in the shadows. Whispers echoed through the halls, and shadows darted just out of sight, taunting them with glimpses of a world beyond their understanding. In a secluded corner of the school, they discovered a hidden chamber, its walls adorned with strange symbols and arcane sigils. As they entered the chamber, a sense of dread washed over them, and they knew they had stumbled upon something far more sinister than they had ever imagined. Suddenly, the air grew thick with the stench of decay, and the walls began to tremble with unseen forces. Cadence, Jacob, and Olivia clung to each other in terror as the chamber filled with an otherworldly glow, and they knew they were in the presence of something ancient and malevolent. With a deafening roar, the chamber erupted in a storm of chaos, and Cadence and her companions were swept away on a tide of darkness. As they tumbled through the void, they caught fleeting glimpses of twisted figures and monstrous shapes, their minds reeling with visions of horror and despair. And then, just as suddenly as it had begun, the storm abated, and Cadence found herself standing once more in the courtyard of Whispering Oaks. She looked around in confusion, her heart still racing with adrenaline as she realized that she and her companions had narrowly escaped the clutches of the cursed school. But as she turned to leave, Cadence couldn't shake the feeling that Whispering Oaks was not done with them yet. The echoes of its desolation lingered in her mind, haunting her dreams and whispering of a darkness that refused to be forgotten, and she knew that their journey was far from over.